Let's bring in New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. She also sits on the House Ways and Means Committee. So you represent a district in New York. What do you think about the prospect of a Democratic socialist leading the race for New York City mayor?
I'm not surprised, and he's likely going to win. The minority of the Democratic Party is very energized. It will be a catastrophe for the Democrats. This guy is going to be the mayor of the largest city in the United States, the most important city in terms of economic conditions in the state of New York. And he's going to influence policy in Albany, which is going to be terrible for everyone in Albany. These socialist policies don't work. They're really rooted in Marxism. His anti-police rhetoric, his the Democratic Socialists of America are against the prison system. They think everybody's innocent. They're anti-Semitic. And it's going to be really, really hard for us to thrive in upstate New York without New York City and a mass outmigration of some of the wealthiest people, probably because socialism, but also because we're not going to be able to maintain the businesses that we have that are driving our economy. And we have already the highest taxes, the highest energy costs, the highest wages, the highest regulatory regime. It's a very difficult place to do business. And that's why people have left in droves, John. It's just not, these policies don't work, and New York proves it. And doubling down on them isn't going to make things better in New York.
Yeah, he's promised things like city-owned grocery stores. Somebody's got to pay for that. And you're saying that voters, especially the wealthy ones, are going to vote with their feet and get out of town.
It always hurts the people in the lower echelons, too, when these types of policies are enacted. Socialism never works. You run out of other people's money. And I've lived in a socialist country, and it was, there's just a couple of things on the shelves. Can you imagine if they start rationing what you can buy at the grocery store and deciding, picking winners and losers? You don't follow what the Democrat socialists do that run power. You're not going to get what you want at the grocery store. And that's how socialism works. It eventually leads to an authoritarianism. And it eventually leads to mass poverty across the board. And we've seen this story over and over. He's really a fake populist. He's trying to tell people you don't have to work. We're just going to give you everything you want. And that never works. It's also contrary to our very system of government, which is about self-governance, self-reliance, about getting out there and having that ingenuity and the spirit to go out and take care of yourself. That's what our country is founded on.
The one branch of government smacked down the Attorney General of New York State, who brought that lawsuit against, he was then former President Trump, over his business dealings. The appeals court threw it out, said it was absolutely unconstitutional and basically a waste of everybody's time. Your reaction?
Yeah, well, this is good news for everyone who's a member of the bar. I am a member of the New York State Bar. My father was actually a Supreme Court justice. And the appellate division, although very left-leaning, got it right. This is an Eighth Amendment violation. It was an excessive fine launched against President Trump, $110,000 a day on a deal he made with another party who they both agreed and they were both happy about the situation. Letitia James, as I've said for over and over, her malicious prosecution, her abusive process, her complete upside down view of getting Trump as opposed to finding justice means she should be not only disbarred but removed from office. Same with this judge who made gross errors that were, I think, subject to judicial conduct, commission review, and possibly removing him as a justice, too. These are really bad days for New Yorkers. But the fact that the left-leaning appellate division threw this out is good news for New Yorkers, because there is justice in some ways, in some cases in New York still.
Even the Washington Post, which is generally no fan of Donald Trump, put this headline out there from its opinion page, the editorial page. Donald Trump and selective prosecution, an outrageously excessive fine is thrown out in New York with an important warning against lawfare. And that is what the paper says that she was engaging in.
Absolutely. I think it's amazing that they would put that out. And that just shows you it's doubly wrong if you can get the left-leaning New York or Washington Post and also the left-leaning justices, by the way, all appointed by Democrats, serving down in the first department, I believe, is where the decision was made. This is this is really important that we are upholding a standard of justice, and it's justice for all, and it has to be equal justice under the law. Lawfare, targeting, abuse of prosecution. I mean, Letitia James has a long record of doing this, not just against President Trump, but many others. My former colleague in the state assembly, Steve McLaughlin, who's now the Rensselaer County executive, was a subject of lawfare and abusive process by Letitia James. He won in a unanimous jury verdict in a matter of minutes. But, unfortunately, he had to spend his own money to get his own justice and to get himself relieved. She's doing this across the state, intimidating, by the way, county officials who comply with 287G, which allows for local governments to work with ICE on finding criminal illegal aliens and gang members within their counties. This is how bad she really is.
Yeah, and now the taxpayers are having to pay her attorney, who is fighting some of the charges that the Department of Justice has brought against her. New York Congresswoman.
And Governor Kathy Hochul put that in the budget. The taxpayer put it in the budget that we pay for Letitia James' legal fees. Unprecedented.
New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.